Okay, today I would love to talk to you about what it's like being a mom who has left America with my 5 kids. So, I've lived in Europe for 5 years, both in Eastern and Western Europe, with my family of 7. And so, I want to talk today specifically to moms about your capacity, especially if you happen to be like me and you're very artsy, maybe you're very sensitive, maybe you're a highly sensitive person, maybe you're a little neurodivergent in some way or another, maybe you don't have time to get diagnosed like me, but at the doctor's appointments, they're like, yeah, you probably got ADHD. The medicine works for me. One of the psychiatrists here said, yeah, like one of the ways that you tell if a person really has ADHD is if the medicine works for them. And the medicine works great for me. So, anyway, if you are a mom, maybe you're a mom who, for whatever reason, has more on your plate than other moms. I'm not saying that some moms have it easy. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is those of us who are parenting like larger families, or those of us who are dealing with neurodivergence and trying to like executive function for the rest of our family, it's very difficult. Oh, it's very difficult. Maybe you have kids who are high needs for whatever reason. I have quite a few of them, actually, who are high needs for different reasons or have had circumstances that made them high needs for a period of time. And I just want to say to you, mom who's carrying like a lot, it is okay to choose yourself. It is okay if you are just, my dogs are sneezing in the background. It is okay if you need to leave America because you are tired and you feel underwater and you are anxious about your children going to school. It makes me so angry. It makes me so angry that children are like being trained to throw water bottles at intruders into their classroom. Like, I'm trying really hard not to cuss on this channel, but that's a WTF situation. That is not okay. Things are very wrong. And if you are the kind of person who is highly empathetic or just sensitive and it's just all too much for you, that is okay. You can leave. You can leave. I really want to encourage you to use what you have available to you. And I think that there's all kinds of rhetoric about, stay and fight, or mainly that one is the one that I think those of us who are really justice oriented, like that's a hook for us. That's a struggle to hear that and to say, no, I'm going to go because I need to take care of myself. That's really hard. I think it's very difficult for mothers in general. We feel selfish for taking care of ourselves. We feel like we're not loving our children or our families or something. I mean, and if you have a background in the white evangelical church, it's all the more like your needs have been minimized. And so I just want to say, if you need to go, even if you just need to go for a while, this doesn't have to be forever. It can, but it doesn't have to be. If you need to go because you are drowning in America, please go. Please go. It has been the best thing for me to move abroad. And I often feel guilty. Like, was it bad for my kids? And it wasn't easy for my kids. They were excited about it and they've gained a lot from it, but it has not been easy for them. I have to often remind myself that nothing about teenagedom in the last 5 years has been easy for any teenagers. No teenagers have come out unscathed. I hear this from the teachers in my kids' schools here. COVID really was hard on our kids. I mean, it was hard on the parents too, of course. But I think I have to really step back and realize that I am in a caregiving role. I am going to be in a permanent caregiving role for my kids who have cognitive disabilities. So it really came down to me understanding myself and wanting to have the capacity to love my kids the way that they deserve to be loved. I wanted to have the capacity to love myself the way that I deserve to be loved. For me to begin to understand that actually it benefits the people in my life if I'm doing well. I'll say that again. It benefits the people in your life if you're doing well. So that's a win-win, because if you're doing well, that means maybe you're happy. Maybe you're not so tired. Maybe you have more of a budget because you've chosen to live in a place where your money goes farther. Geo arbitrage is the fancy word for that. If you are happy, I mean, it's that thing that people say, if mama ain't happy. Well, if mama is happy, everybody is happier. Mostly because if you are happy, you have capacity to emotionally invest in your people. And I think that one of the most surprising things for me in moving to Europe is that my emotional capacity has increased dramatically. My creativity has increased. My happiness has increased. There are new stressors when you move abroad. It's not that my life is without stress. It's quite stressful in different ways, and yet I feel alive here in a way that I did not feel alive in America. I truly did feel like I was drowning. So if you are a mom who is ready to go and your family wants to move out of America, I would encourage you to look into the sessions that I have in my video description. It's called Get Me to Europe, and I will walk with you through the process of figuring out your steps to actually get here. And that can be anywhere in Europe, including Turkey, because I'm lumping Turkey in with Europe, which may or may not be bothersome to some people. Anyway, if you are ready to go, you've decided, but you don't know where you're going, or you're not sure all the steps to get there, that's what this call is for, and the subsequent support package. So here's to you, mom lady. Here's to you feeling alive. Here's to you making the choice to use the resources that you have. One of those resources is your US passport, and choosing ease where you can. It is impossible to have an easy life. Life is full of problems, especially if you are a mom who's exhausted because you have kids with high needs. I understand the deep, deep exhaustion. And then to be in a society that honestly doesn't look out for kids, doesn't seem to actually like kids, I said it. Being there as a mom and then like being expected to pull yourself up by your bootstraps, especially if you happen to be neurodivergent yourself, like something's got to give. And it is really, really okay. It is even great for you to choose yourself. I would love to help you to choose yourself by moving out of America. For me, I find it so much easier to even be present to my friends remotely, which is so fascinating because I think one of the hard things is being away from family, being away from friends. That's a really hard thing. And yet, because I'm doing okay, I'm able to provide a level of like support, moral support, and even like helping people through divorces and helping people through really tricky situations with their kids, through voice notes, through video calls. Like I'm able to be present because I have capacity. If you feel like maybe you don't have enough capacity, but you have the means to give it a try, to live abroad for a while, it doesn't have to be forever. You don't have to commit to that. And you don't have to burn down your life in America to be able to experience life abroad. Look at it as an adventure. This channel is called One Daring Adventure because of Helen Keller's quote, "Life is a daring adventure or nothing." And right now, the circumstances are such in America that it's really exhausting. It's extra exhausting on top of normal exhaustion. And if you have the opportunity to go and get yourself some more capacity, if you're just really, really not doing well there, I would encourage you to look for a path where you can put yourself first and where you can give your kids a break. I know it will not be easy. It's not easy on kids to move, and yet you can make really amazing memories as a family living abroad. You can do such interesting things. Your kids get a sense of the world and a sense that they are not the center of the world in the best way. They get exposure to languages and culture and different foods and history and art and just a different mentality of doing things. My kids understand vacation. Like they have a really long vacation from school here. They understand taking a break a little bit better than they would have understood in America. They understand having space to do nothing. And I think those are all really valuable things. And I think that they're better for it. It's not that they haven't had challenges, but I do think they are turning into lovely people. And I think their international experience and their broader perspective in the world helps them be loving people. My oldest is actually back in the States. She's in Minnesota. She landed right in the middle of all of the ICE and Customs and Border Control chaos. We lived in Minnesota for 15 years, and I love Minnesota. I love it. It really grew on me. I wasn't sure that I ever wanted to live somewhere without mountains, and I lived there for 15 years. Really, like my only place in America that I've lived as an adult out of college is Minnesota. And it's really dear to my heart. And I'm glad that my daughter is there. She's always wanted to go back. So I'm not anti living in America, but I am pro you feeling alive. I guess I wanted to mention, so my daughter, she's 20. She's gone back to the States to work twice now. It's just easier to find a job when you're proficient in the language, etc. So she has gone back. And she is so friendly. She's literally had people walk up to her and ask if she's looking for a job, which is wild. So what I want to say is, of all my kids, if it was going to be hard on someone, it would have been my oldest, because she was 13 when we left. And she has become such a beautiful person. She's a refreshing presence to be around. And I think coming back to the States and being a person who genuinely loves people and is kind, like she's thriving somehow despite everything. So I just want to give you an example of her. Like she interviews very well. She gets jobs on the spot. People are fascinated by her history because, you know, she can be like, well, when I lived in the Republic of Georgia, and that time I went and traveled with my family to China. Like she's got a lot of interesting experiences, and people find her really fascinating, but also friendly. I think she has learned to express herself and to show kindness beyond words, right? Because we have lived in places where we couldn't speak the language, and so body language goes a long way. Her whole essence is kind and friendly. I think her time abroad has just made her a richer, more beautiful person. But this is about you. This is about you as a mom. I know that some of you also read World War II fiction. And I know that this has been a very troubling time for those of us who see connections. And I know that many of you are like me and knew that things were very, very bad in 2015 when you started seeing that people were doing Nazi salutes at Trump at his rallies before he was elected. Those of you moms who are neurodivergent or really tuned into justice or really like World War II spy books, like, you know that it's bad. And I know a lot of you may have reluctant spouses. I guess I just want to speak to those of you who haven't decided to go yet and just give you permission to want to go, and also permission to acknowledge what you're really seeing. It's really that bad. It's really that bad. After living in a post-Soviet country that is still resisting authoritarian government tactics, I can assure you that it is as bad as you think. And if you don't want to stay, that is okay. I had a mom tell me, I don't want to be the person who doesn't go and thinks it's not a big deal and then it's too late. And that's a real fear that I'm hearing from a lot of people. So I don't want you to be driven by your fear only. If the fear is what needs to light you on fire and get you moving in this process, okay, but it can't be the only motivator. I really encourage you to also think about moving abroad for your own well-being and for your own capacity and aliveness, the well-being of your own self, and then how that self reverberates out to the world. If you are doing well, you can add to the world in a way that you cannot when you're drowning. When you are drowning, you do not have the capacity to be using your gifts in the way that you would like, or holding space for the people that you love, or being emotionally present in the way that you would like. Those were all of my experience. And I'm so glad that I took the risk, that I decided with my husband that we were going to try this. We were going to give it a try, and we were going to see how it went. And we did. And we're so thankful to be here. I hope that this encourages you. If you are somebody who does feel underwater in America, I would love it if you comment. Right now, I'm such a new channel that I'm just getting the bots and the trolls in my comments. And I would love if you sprinkled a little fairy dust in my comments and told me if you related to anything in this video, or if you have thought about going and where you might like to go. So thank you for being here with me. You fully alive is worth the effort. The world will benefit from you being fully alive. You will enjoy life better if you are fully alive. And for me, moving outside of America was the path to feeling fully alive again. So I invite you to join me outside of America for your own well-being, because you have the option. I know that not everybody does, but if you do, I'm inviting you to use your resources, use your passport, and take a break. Take a break from feeling like you're drowning. All right, go have some tea or something. Bye.